Infano, fire disaster, fire calamity, what are the causes? Do we have mechanisms on ground to immediately arrest fire outbreak? Do we have the professionals? What are the do's and don'ts? And what are the primary causes? Sometimes it might be due to bad electrifying connection. Sometimes it may be due to overloading of electric appliances. And sometimes it may be due to negligence of people within or result towards causing fire calamity. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Gombe. My name is Ibrahim Tal. The program you are watching is Good Morning Nigeria and Good Morning Gombe. The gentleman to do justice to this particular subject matter is the Assistant Superintendent of Fire, that is water. Tashi hankali wuta gobara, Allah kiyaye, Allah raba mu da gobara. Assistant Superintendent of Fire, Muazu Bashir Musa, Acting Public Relations Officer, Federal Fire Service, Gombe State. Ankara, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Gombe. But before we move down to the program specifically, we would like to release our trending matters around the state and Nigeria in general. So give us a minute, please. We're done with that, we'll come back to you. Mr. Daniel Abu is our regular public analyst in the studio. Daniel, welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Gombe, and thanks for having me.
As usual, do you have any latest development?
Yeah, we have a couple of trending issues really going on right now. Gombe State has committed to finally solve the gender violence issue. The Ajas Mao Inoaya, the First Lady of the state yesterday, led some traditional rulers to sign a document that will finally prohibit and put on end gender violence, which is a very, very, very big one. It's a big score for the state. So Gombe State is always ahead in gender issues. So that is a plus. It's a very big milestone that has been achieved. Secondly, again, you remember last week here in one of our programs, we were analyzing that since the problem in Billy has been solved, the governor has forgiven the people after the visit led by the chairman of the local government and some elders. We hope and pray now that development will start being taken to that Billy area. And we'll have a good news coming from there also too. One Pokwandli primary school in Billy is receiving a facelift and upgrade for the first time since in 78 years since that school was built. There's renovation of the existing structure. The governor has already built an upstairs story building in the school premises and other thing, which is a very, very good one. Then on the national scene, you know the drama going on. The Senate has finally called back for an emergency sitting. After declaring a 2 weeks or 3 weeks recess, they called back an emergency sitting yesterday to sit and pass the bill on transmission finally. So that's a win for the people and democracy in Nigeria. Very, very big one. Now only hope, but with a clause. What politicians and analysts are saying is that that clause is still another funny thing. They're saying, okay, the beavers will be used for live transmission through election, but in the case where there is no network, the manual accreditation will be used on the case. But you can't trust Nigerian politicians. So activists and NGO and human activists are still insisting that that clause is not necessarily there.
Are you sure that all the beavers are fully functional and then they can transmit a result through the problem of network we're having? Even yesterday, the network.
Mr. Brian, what Nigerians are saying now is that if bandits and criminals in the bush do live videos, get networks and transmit, do live video of people that they kidnap and beat in the bush, and say, what more of elections are being held in cities and the rest? That's what the argument people are putting that. It's very, very possible.
Now, do you see the president assenting to that adjustment of that particular clause?
Oh, with the pressure going on right now in the country, I don't know. It is alleged on social media this morning now that because of the transmission Buhari we had, that APC lost, based on analysis, just public, unconfirmed analysis, we lost millions of followers.
That's just an assertion.
It's an assertion.
Daniel, thank you very much for your input to this particular issues trending. Assistant Superintendent, we are back to you.
Okay, sir.
Viewers want to continue with our subject matter of the day, the causes of fire outbreak. Assistant Superintendent, recently in Gombe State, we had some fire outbreak that claimed millions, even the day before yesterday. I think so, even the day before. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Good. Now, why the occurrence of those issues? And before your men get there, the story will be different.
Well, good morning, Gombe, and good morning, Nigeria. The root cause of all fire incidents recorded recently are attributed 90%, or let me say 95%, are attributed to electrical surge. And most of this incident recorded in residential premises are because of negligence, or let me say ignorance of the occupants. And some other factors that contribute to such emergencies are also attributed to the liquefied, that's improper use of liquefied petroleum gas, that's LPG, the gas that has been used in cooking and other things. So recently, let me say from 1st of February to date, we've recorded almost 12 number of fire incidents in Gombe metropolis. From fire incident recorded within Gombe metropolis. I mean from Tumpre, from places like, there was a day our people turned out to fire incidents like 3 times.
Just in one day?
Just in
different locations?
Different locations. And you can see wherever there is a fire incident, no matter how small or little it is, someone must lost or must incur, let me say, damage. So most of these fire incidents are caused by negligence and nonchalant attitude of the occupants.
Okay. Now, what about areas of business like shops and warehouse and material?
Yes. These places, let me say marketplaces and warehouses, you can see that it is only in Nigeria that you can see a man or somebody will invest, will build a shop worth of maybe invest properties, let me say goods worth of millions, but he cannot be able to procure, to purchase or buy one fire extinguisher, which is not, let me say, more than 20,000, so as to safeguard his property. So it is only in Nigeria and it is only in Gombe that you see that, that you come across that. And recently there is what we call the National Fire Safety Awareness Campaign Week. It is a week dedicated nationwide for public enlightenment and awareness creation on fire safety. And we were able to reach out to the old market here in Gombe and the new market as well. We were able also to take our campaign we took the campaign to Ibrahim Dankomo Mega Park, where we gather, let me say, motorists and passengers. We sensitize and give them fire safety tips, and we also show them, we taught them how to use the first aid firefighting equipment like the fire extinguisher and the fire blanket.
Assistant Superintendent, now this awareness you said you have relate to people, especially in the market. What about people in their residential houses?
See, looking at the advancement of, let me say, advancement of technology, you see, we've been carrying out a lot of social media engagements on our Facebook page, and we've been carrying out a lot of sensitizations on radio channels so that we can reach a wider, let's say, audience. So we've been doing that, and we've been going out. There is a department that is saddled with the responsibility of creating awareness and enlightening the general public on the effects and let me say techniques and procedures to be applied in case when there is fire. And that department is called IIE, that's Inspection, Investigation and Enforcement Department. And they've been going around. We've been going out to places of worship, like churches and mosques. We've been going out. This is what we call. There's a unit in that department called school outreach. They've been going out, and I was part of this engagement. So we've been going out to schools, higher institutions of learning, primary schools, to teach the students, sensitize them, and give them first-hand, information or knowledge on firefighting and first aid firefighting equipment.
Yes, I think I truly agree with your first submission, that it is only in Nigeria that you see somebody invest, creating a business worth maybe almost $1 billion naira, yes, and he does not think of the safety of that business which we are getting. Yes, you see, there are something they call the 4 P's of power. That is plan, procure, practice, and prevent. Yes. But I think if you guys tip off your game and do more, to me, my own perception, I think some level of enforcement power and authority should be given to the Federal Fire Service. Like, I worked in Kano and I was the branch manager of one company. And what we do in this company is that having a fire training certificate should be a must for any organization or any business. We go to fire service, we pay the amount that personnel every year they used to come to the company and give us refresher training on this game before renewing your certificate for that year. Yes. Part of the QHSE, quality head and grazing. It should teach you more start point, where to come out and gather in case there's a fire incident here in GMTV now. They show you a place called Monster Point, which you want to gather, show assemble. So having said that, I think if, like you were talking about advancement in technology, that with the inception of social media, yes, that is true. I also want to add one more for you guys again. I think we should take it to religious places too.
Yes,
we take it to churches and mosques.
Yes, we've been doing that, and recently there's this church at Kagarawal. One of our officer, Edogbanya, ASF, Edogbanya Matthew Akodi and his team. He is the
name sounds like my brother.
Yes, he is the HOD of the department. So they were able to carry out the sensitization at that church, and I happened to be with the team that carried out the sensitization at one mosque there in Malaina. So we've been doing that, and our men are still coming up with some kind of plans so as to reach wider population, as I said earlier.
Alhaji Mazu, now that you have talked about how you're reaching the general public, both those in the market and those at residential areas, then how do people get to you to come to their demands? That is, if anything unwanted happen of such nature that we are discussing.
Okay. Traditionally, let me say,
that is by prompt action.
Yes, sir. Traditionally, there is what we call running caller. They normally come to the station and report, yes, there is social.
There is running caller.
Yes, there is fire at social place. Then our men will turn out to the scene of fire. But now, with the advancement of technology, as I said, we have what we call GSM. We have designated phone numbers where people can reach us, and we do turn out and maybe provide what we call assistance or scope to them. So we have designated phone numbers, as I said earlier, and there is a national emergency number 112, through which if you call, they will channel your call to our control room at the headquarters and still call our operations department here.
Okay. Now, what is that? Okay.
Most of the times, we used to receive calls from the public relations officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps or the Nigerian Police. So we have a very good cordial relationship with them. Yes, they've been calling. Just like recently, when there was fire at that mile 3, the police public relations officer called me around 3 a.m. We have to turn out, and they went there and found that the police are still
3 a.m. midnight.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
President, most of the times people are very ignorant about types of fire and types of equipment to use in putting on those fire. Yes, and we are told there are like 5 types of fire: A, B, C, D, and K type of fire. Can you educate our audience a little bit of that?
Okay. Those classes, they are called the classes of fire. And we all know this fire is just a rapid chemical reaction that involves 3 key components. And these key components are the things we use every day. Let me say, if I say 3 things we use every day, is that it's something that involves oxygen, that's the air we breathe, and fuel. And in fire service, if we say fuel, we're not referring to petrol, diesel, or other things. Now we're referring to anything that is capable of burning. Yes, then heat. And that heat is known to be as a change in temperature of a system or of a body. That one. So when these 3 things are in right proportion, they result to what is called fire. And as you rightly said, there are classes of fire. So there is class A fire that involves the free burning materials, just like our clothes, papers, anything like wood and other things. Then there is class B fire, which involves flammable liquids.
Okay.
Yes.
Like the cooking gas at home.
Yes, and like petrol, diesel, and rest. And there is also class, let me say class C, right? There is class C type of fire, and this type of fire involves flammable gases like methane, propane, and the rest of them. Then class D type of fire. This involves metals, let me say acid metals, right? Then the next one is class K.
Yes.
In UK, it is referred as the kitchen fires.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But I think in America, it is called class E. Why? Because it is, they say it's electrical. So in some cases, they say electrical fire is not a class of fire, it's just a form of energy. And now, there is what they call class L fire. That has to do with lithium-ion batteries. The batteries that we use in our phones, and the batteries that the power bank.
Not too common earlier.
And there are motorcycles that are powered by this lithium-ion batteries. So that one is also a class of fire, which is recently added by the NPF, that's National Fire Protection and let me say NPF, National Fire Protection and Association.
True, Assistant Superintendent, sir. What is the signage between your office and the State Fire Service? Is there that cordial relationship?
Yes, sir.
In terms of...
There is a very good, let me say, relationship between the Federal Fire Service and the State Fire Service. Why? Because we all serve the same, we have the same mandate.
Okay.
Yes, just like any other security agency, their mandate is to save lives and properties. So our mandate too is to save lives, safeguard properties of the citizens. So we do have a very cordial relationship with them. Sometimes they used to call us for enforcement, and our people do turn out to go and assist them. So,
do you have enough equipment to counter fire?
Yes, sir. We have a state-of-art, let me say, firefighting appliance. Yes, we call it appliance. That big truck, I believe you've been seeing it.
Like how many do you have?
Yeah, we have one fire appliance and we have one water tender. And that water tender is called water tender. Why? Because it's dual purpose. It can supply water to support the appliance, and it can also fight fire. That's why it's called dual purpose water tender. Yes, sir. And we do have a rapid response intervention vehicle for fires that involve maybe motorcycles, kitchen fires, and small scale of fires.
So as it is now, you don't need any assistance from your main office of the federal government or the headquarters for more?
No, we need additional firefighting appliances. Why? Because there is a plant, the Incumbent Controller General of Fire, that's the CDF Olumude Samuel Adeyemi, has come up with a plan to extend, maybe to, as in widen our services to, let me say, every senatorial district. So there is this plan. So with that, we need more, let me say, firefighting equipments, so as to cater for the needs of these places.
Most of the times, when the fire incidents erupt, it seems to create a lot of panic, so much panic. And we are told that there's this thing called the golden rules of fire. Then when fire erupts immediately, can you really let our audience know when a fire occurs? What are the golden rules to first take? What are the first moves?
So when there is fire, when maybe you notice there is fire in your room, first you need to calm down. Do not panic. And you have to, if you have fire service number, and depending on the, let me say, the magnitude, the size of the fire, you know, there is incipient state, that's the baby state, that's the starting state. So you can be able to fight this fire. You can just match it with your leg, and you can see that the fire will just go off. So if it is at that incipient state, it is the state where you, the occupant, will be able to fight the fire. And it is advised that you make use of your first aid firefighting equipment and fight the fire. But when it's escalated to, let me say, growth and let me say fully developed state, then that's where fire service come in. That's where you look for assistance or support from the Federal Fire Service or from the State Fire Service. So when you notice that there is a fire in your room, or maybe in your house, do not panic. You need to raise alarm. Maybe if you have the firefighting equipment, you try your best. Then you call fire service, seek assistance. Then you notify your neighbors or let me say everybody, all the occupants of the house, so as to evacuate or vacate the place.
You have been talking about calling your office with prompt action. Now, how do the public get to know your numbers?
We do
apart from the 112 emergency line.
We give out our emergency numbers on the flyers, and whenever we go out for, let me say, sensitization, we also give out our numbers. So whenever any press release, maybe we give out to the general public, we used to attach our number, our emergency number, and with the press release.
Now, can you do that to general public?
Okay.
If you have a paper and biro, if you wish, or if you are watching us, listening to what we are discussing, if you want to pick the number, the acting public relation officer will do justice to that before we go for break.
Start by giving the national emergency number, which is 112.
All right.
And followed by our emergency number, that's 070 31 49 7455. I will repeat, 070 31 49 7455.
Can you do justice to people that are speaking the other dialect, because I want to believe we have quantum numbers of people that are hearing the language. When it comes to figures like this, I equally get confused with the Hausa language. So
that would say sipili bakwai sipili uku daya hudu tara bakwai hudu biyar biyar. Sipili bakwai sipili uku daya hudu tara bakwai hudu biyar biyar.
Superintendent, we've had incidences whereby people have died because of miscalculations during fire incidents. So I want you to advise people on what to do. We have incidents whereby fire incidents occurred and the person has been evacuated. He has evacuated himself out of the scene. And maybe he remembered, oh, I have 50,000 in one of my drawer in the room. He runs back. In several years back, I lost a brother when we have this diesel tanker in Ukraine along Jekadi Ferry. He's a lab technician at FMC. He has been evacuated out of that place, but he remembered he had some vital document in his car. It was that document he ran back to pick that he got consumed in the fire. So what do you have to tell the audience concerning such incidents?
Okay, I think the message is clear. There is no variable that is worth your life. Yes. So whenever there is fire incident, one thing we prioritize is your life. That's why we said, that's why we used to say safety first. So once there is fire and this fire has maybe grown or escalated, so the only thing you expect from the occupant is to evacuate. And if maybe you are sleeping and you realize that there is a fire in your room, before you maybe get off or got out, you also get to see that there is a smoke.
Yes.
So we advise that you crawl.
Okay, you crawl on the floor.
Locate your
I was taught that in to do.
I believe from your listener, I understand that you.
Viewers will be going for a short break. Acting Public Relations Officer, Assistant Superintendent Bashir Musa, is doing justice to our question. I want to believe for those that are following us are getting bit by bit his explanation to avoid or eschew fire outbreak and how to prompt see them so that they can come for right in terms of any disaster or calamity of such a nature. We'll be back in a jiffy. On to the program, Good Morning Nigeria, Good Morning Gombe. If you want to be part of the program, you want to contribute your quota, or you want to ask questions, you can call us on our usual line. The control room will do justice and place the number on our screen so that you can invest and at the same time get to know more about fire arrest and fire prevention in case it happens to a neighbor or friends or anybody within your vicinity. Bashir Musa, Acting Public Relations Officer, we are glad for you being in the studio. Let me ask this question. Some fire usually start, let's assume there is an upstairs in this organization, which we have one. And based on my knowledge of your trucks, do you have elevator that usually pick your staff ahead of one floor, second floor to quench fire?
No, really. But there is what we call aerial firefighting truck.
Aerial?
Aerial, yes. We didn't have it here in Gombe, but we have it in Abuja and Lagos. One thing we do is in terms of high-rise fire, that's upstairs. We have a ground monitor mounted on our appliance. It is the one we use to jet water to the upper level. So with that we fight fires.
You can do something like ladder.
Yes. With that we fight fires involving high risings and let me say story buildings in English.
Okay. Some instances where calamity for maybe swimmers or those that are diving or swimming in the sea, or maybe a truck or a car fall into a pitch, or children were drowned in a river. Based on some little knowledge I have, that it is equally part of your duty to rescue victims of such accident. Is it correct? It's under jurisdiction?
Yes, it is part of our mandate. We do carry out, let me say, emergency rescue services. Yes. So we have what we call a rapid response intervention crew. It is a set of, it is a crew, a team of firefighters or officers from the fire service who are trained in that aspect. So they were given special training on how to rescue maybe people trapped, falling into a well, road traffic accidents. So we call them rapid response intervention crew.
We have seen instances whereby there's a fire going on.
Yes, sir.
And people come to help put off the fire. But because of the raw substances they use, you see them escalating the fire. So can you please help tell our audience, based on that, we have different kind of fire extinguishers.
Yes, sir.
Can you educate our audience the type to use based on the kind of fire?
Okay, thank you very much.
And we were also told that if you're fighting fire, there's a film of fire, you don't fight it from the top. It's what's called base. Yes. Can you please educate our audience on that?
Thank you very much. This is a very good question. Firstly, we have 2 to 3 types of commonly used type of fire extinguishers. We have DCP that contains a dry chemical powder, which is mostly ammonium chloride. It is used in fighting class A. Let me say it is a multi-purpose fire fighting equipment. Why? Because you can use it almost. You can use it to fight almost every type of every class of fires. Yes, and there is what we call CO2. And the CO2 fire extinguisher is more of a gas. So you can use it to fight fires involving electronics and other consumables. So anything that you will be able to eat, maybe that, because there is no residue. It is gas. So
even after maybe fire is burning your rice, usually you can still eat that rice.
Yes. And maybe when your computer is on fire or you know this thing, you use it to fight the fire, and maybe after blowing the residue,
you can still use it.
And there's though halon is no more into application now, because it's, let me say, outdated. And there is also water fire extinguisher, which is also outdated, because when applied to electrical fire, it can lead to what is called electrocution.
Yes.
So it is no more a device.
It has a level of oxygen.
It is not a device to be used now. So these are the 2 commonly used type of fire extinguishers, and I would advise the general public to procure at least, let them have at least 1 fire extinguisher, so as to safeguard their property and investment.
Talk about the place to start fighting fire for.
And there's what we call pass.
Okay.
That's, you pull the pin. You see, on the fire extinguisher, there's what we call safety pin. It is just like let me say the nozzle that will trigger the fire extinguisher. So you remove it out, then you pull in the pin, then you aim at the base of the fire, then you squeeze the nozzle, then you sweep at the base of the fire, then it will discharge the content and blanket the fire. That is it.
Okay, what about fire that usually start probably while discharging petrol tanker to filling station? And before you know, the fire has started, the fire probably starts at the base of the petrol down, and it goes straight to the tanker. Before you know,
explosion, yes.
So how do you handle such?
So such type of fires are usually fought with what we call aqueous film-forming foam compounds. It is a chemical. It is applied to the water. So you know, the water is a little bit dense than the fuel. So with the application of that foam, it will go and blanket the fire, thereby cutting the oxygen. And one thing with the fire is that once you remove out one of these 3 components I mentioned, the fire will automatically go up. You see, it's either you blanket it, thereby cutting out the oxygen, or you remove the fuel, or you apply water.
Okay, is that the principle behind why we have been taught to wet our towel at our blanket if our gas, cooking gas?
Yes, that's improvisation. You improvise, you make use of available resources to fight fire. So you see, there is what we call principles of extinction. These three components we made mention before, the heat, the oxygen, and the fuel. Once you remove one of these components, the fire will automatically go, let me say, extinguished. So once you apply water, that's thereby removing the heat, then we call that process what? Cooling method. And once you remove out the fuel, the burning content, then you starve the fire, and that process is called starvation. And once you blanket or you cut oxygen, then that process is also called inhibition, let me say smoldering.
Okay.
Yes, once you cut oxygen, that process is called smoldering. So the function of that chemical is to smolder the fire, thereby cutting the oxygen and extinguishing the fire.
Lack of moisture sometimes in the society, especially during dry season, usually escalate fastly fire. Before you know, if the fire started in my house, before you know, by trying to quench it to the neighbor, I permeate quickly to the other house. So how will you call on the general public, those watching us now, especially during Harmattan period when the environment is dry?
Yes, it is the reason why the Controller General mandated all the 36 state commands to carry out National Fire Safety Awareness Campaign Week. Mostly, this campaign week is a week, as I said earlier, designated purposely to educate general public on the use of fire extinguishers, as in first aid firefighting techniques and hands-on information on how to fight fire, and also so what we normally do is during environments, we do intensify our engagements. We do go out, sensitize general public, and show them what to do in case if there is fire, and show them what to do to prevent their properties and their houses from catching fire.
Yes, listening, when I was watching the Hausa Amazon, I heard your guy saying was analyzing some of the activities coming from the public towards the firefighters, which is true. I've witnessed lots of people stoning them, people trying to attack them in some areas when they go for fire fighting exercise sometimes. Yes, I think that can be solved when the organization brings itself more and more closer to the people. If we did something last year, I think in 2023 that I like. I was in Aramton Fair Market one day when I saw you doing some rally. They were even wasting some water on the floor. That's one thing with the people. When you bring yourself closer to the people, they also get friendly with you. When you become proactive towards it, Nigerians are funny. They go closer, creating more and more, and like I was talking about religious houses, creating more and more awareness. The people will tend to get closer to you. But since the last time you have that exercise, you've not had it again, that rally we did 2023. Is it because that it was cost intensive in terms of logistics?
We've been doing it every year. We've been doing it every year. Recently in December, we've conducted these campaigns, and we've taken it to other places. Just that we did not go to Chimpre.
Okay.
Yes, but we've been going out, and
this is a nice one.
Yes.
So how do you call on the people to pursue understanding and be mature when it comes to call where it's minor fire that they can cause them?
Yes.
Before you know, they start calling you, and on getting to the place, you discover that the issue has been that minor one that, like you say, you can use one leg. Calling at times, they should hold it and see if they can quietly or calmly quench the fire.
The problem is, I made mention of panicking.
Fear.
Once they realize there is a fire in there, maybe in their premises,
you cool down.
Yes, you cool down, then you make efforts to fight this fire, especially when it is at the incipient stage. And when it has reached growth stage, then we expect, or it is expected of him to call fire service for assistance. So it is advised that each and every household must have at least one fire extinguisher. I can see you have a lot of electrical appliances here, but I did not see a fire extinguisher.
That's a good.
Seriously.
No, we have them.
This is the
Candidly, we have them.
This is the first thing.
That is just a blatant truth. We have them. They are in the office here. No, they are in the office. We have them.
They are not supposed to be. They have to be placed at the entrance.
Yes.
In case if there is fire,
strategic
someone
positions.
coming out will be able to make use of the fire extinguisher. But let's just make instance. If there is fire here, how are we going to fight it? And I can see a lot of appliances here. So
you are very much correct. I hope you are not throwing fire to us. We are firing with our own questions. No, candidly speaking, we have them. The only thing is they are not
educated. There should be a monster point in this premises.
like seriously,
we do have those, like you said earlier, even from our former Bauchi BATV, we have a monster point. In fact, even in our former, our earlier digital transmitting office, there is a studio, we would have this monster by the center of the fire. In fact, we have very big fire, fire extinguisher that.
Totally.
Very good. That is candidly, we have difference of that.
There is a name of this one down with pipe that they used to mount in big organization. I forget what's the name. Horse wheel. Yes. Thanks for that last big point you just brought. Because I think this thing should be institutionally based too.
Seriously.
This is part of one of the mandates you go around, even government organization, Ministry of Finance, GMC-TV, and Radio, talk to them, do all these things too. Because sometimes we don't walk the talk. And one thing I would like you also, Mazu, to advise the public also is that sometimes people don't know that this fire extinguisher expires. They will have bought one fire extinguisher and hang here since 1975 and think it's there working.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
What is the lifespan of some of those fire extinguishers?
So it is based on the National Fire Safety Code. Every fire extinguisher should be checked after 6 months.
6 months.
Yes.
Because maybe it is exposed to temperature, so the content might crack. You understand? So when there is fire, maybe you want to use it, you realize that it cannot work. It will fail you. So, and there is a need for people also to be trained on how to use.
That's why I talk about a yearly fire drill.
And
issue them certificate for the new, just like they renew motor licenses.
And from our side,
organizations like GMTV are supposed to be having fire drill and fire retraining every year. Then they'll issue a new certificate. That one of 225 will have expired. They give that of 2026.
And from my side, we will voluntarily come and train people here.
You promise us?
Yes,
we'll talk to the DG, and I want to believe the DG will come here.
This is in return of what you should do.
Okay, that's a very good one.
Charity begins at home.
We have those things. That is just a blatant truth. I will not lie to you guys. Assistant Superintendent, sometimes you find problems meeting your point of action due to dense traffic on the way, and sometimes lack of shoulders, or if the traffic is high, Okada guys, or what do you call them, Kekena Pep and others will not quickly allow you move. Now, how do you usually encounter? Are your vehicles fully equipped with the siren?
Yes, we have sirens mounted on our appliances. So this traffic is one of the major challenges we have, especially here in Gombe. People have this, mentality, thinking when they hear siren, they just say, without knowing it might be your house, it might be your brother's house. So I am calling on the general public, whenever they hear siren, they should at least make way. Give way to firefighters, give way to not only to fire service, to ambulances, to police vans and other things.
And I pray, I want to advise to also talk to town planners, peoples and engineers, so when they are planning their building, they should try to create access for firefighters able to access fire points.
Yes.
They had such issue mostly in the markets too.
Thank God, Gogis have been doing this and they are still trying. So our problem now is the marketplace, and we've been calling on the leadership of those markets to to at least talk to the people, let them create accessible roads for firefighters. There was an incident in this old market. Our men turned out to the scene of fire. They could not reach out. They could not reach to the point, to the fire scene, because there is no accessible road. There is no road.
Federal Fire Service, GOMBE Command. I don't know. This may be my last question. Dan, do you have any further question? Okay, this will be the last question for the program today. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, GOMBE. Is there any fee that your office usually charge after rendering a beautiful service, or at all time service rendered to quench fire is free of charge?
Yes, our services are free. Our services are humanitarian services, so we do render free service. We do render free service, so we do not charge, and we don't use to charge, and we will not charge. So our services are purely free.
Because for the past 1 hour we have been discussing on fire control and how to arrest fire in case it happens, and I want to believe you have invested your time positively on this particular subject that we have just discussed. Assistant Superintendent of Fire Service Mazu Bashir Musa, we are glad for your presence in the studio, and we believe subsequently we invite you to come and do justice to the general public to avert or to avoid future occurrence of fire service.
Thank you,
Mr. Dan, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me as usual.
Our control room, we are glad for sending our signals both on YouTube, Facebook and others. And for those that are with us, we believe that you continue to engage yourself and continue to watch GOMBE Media Corporation, GMC-TV. My name is Ibrahim. You can stand by for the remaining part of our programs for the day.